So hello, everyone, and welcome to our HomeBuddy webinar sponsored by Altruistic Advisory. This is going to be the Fostering Excellence series. We're starting off on our first one is the Culture Edition. So thank you for joining. We're super excited to be here. I'm going to start with just a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar will last 30 minutes. If you have any questions and we get to the end and we've run out of time, don't worry, we will absolutely follow up with answers for you. We encourage you to participate in the content. It's much more fun if everybody plays along. So you will see poll questions pop up throughout the content, and we will look forward to your answers. They're all anonymous, so feel free to say what you really think. And they're all multiple choice, so you can just pick which ones you apply to you. If you have any questions for our panelists, please feel free to put a question in the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom bar, and we'll be watching those, and I will ask as many of them as I can live. If you have a technical question or any comments to the moderator, go ahead and put those in the chat, and I'll see them, and I will respond as quickly as I can. And just so you know, everybody's mics will be muted throughout the call, so we won't have background noise and dogs barking and all those fun things that Zoom webinars always bring with us. And just to answer this question up front, because I know you'll all ask me, we will release this video at the end of the presentation, and I'll release the presentation we're about to present. You'll get it in an email from me, but you'll also be able to find it on our HomeBuddy YouTube channel. So if you've never checked out our YouTube channel, now is the perfect opportunity to go take a look. So with that, I am very excited to start down the let's talk about culture path. I think one of the most important things that we should establish right up front is, why does this matter? And why does it matter to your business's bottom line? Because we all, we love culture. I love culture. But why? Why do you have to do this? So we got some statistics that I wanted to share with you. And the first one shows that, culture can really make or break your success. About 86% of job seekers say they will avoid companies with bad reputations. And 90% of employees with poor company cultures, they think about quitting. So those are huge numbers. You know, if you're trying to reduce turnover and keep the employees that are already working hard for you and trained for you, company culture is vital. On the flip side, statistics show that you can get a 20% increase in productivity from employees who work within good cultures. And that can lead to 21% more profitability and up to 4 times in revenue over time. So really, it helps on both sides. You want to keep your employees, and this will help your bottom line. It helps you drive your revenue if you have a good and solid culture. So with that, I'm going to introduce our expert panel today and let them tell you a little bit about who they are and where they're from. So I'm going to start with Martin. Martin, welcome to the panel. And could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about HomeBuddy?
Yeah, actually, thank you, Tracy, and welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here. For me, talking about the subject of culture and values, I've been very passionate about this for many years. A little bit about myself. For the last 20-some years, I've been directing and building call centers, including 15 years in telecommunications. Then working on behalf of the government, building call centers pretty much from the ground up. And just before coming to HomeBuddy, I worked as a global performance leader. So there I worked for international offices, training their managers and supervisors the skills on being effective leaders, and implementing everything from benchmarking metrics to employee scorecards. So I've pretty much seen a lot of different cultures and places that were pretty good and maybe not so good. But right now I'm actually the director of call center operations for HomeBuddy. And it's been about 3 years. And if you haven't heard or know what HomeBuddy is or does, we're actually a lead generation platform for home renovations. We work with some of the top and best contractors nationwide, marketing, and then connecting them with only exclusive leads, which is the big thing. Now, our job here basically at the call center at HomeBuddy is we provide an option, an alternative for contractors to book those qualified leads without requiring them to do so on their own. So I'm really proud to be here today representing HomeBuddy. Also, I'm really honored to have Briana with us as an expert in this field joining me. So Briana, maybe share a bit about yourself.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here, guys, and I'm so grateful to HomeBuddy for having me on. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to dive into it. A little bit about myself. I'm in New Jersey, and I'm the founder and CEO of Altruistic Advisory. And our intention at Altruistic Advisory is to be in service of others and help others develop and achieve success and abundance in their life through personal development and professional development. And I am just so excited to kick this thing off and dive into really what to expect today and what we're going to kind of run through. So we're here to just dive into the intrinsics of cultivating a cohesive company culture, which shares a collective belief in vision, purpose, and core values. So you're going to hear us talking a lot about those three things: vision, purpose, and core values. And so also, how do we align that with the key players within our organization? So we're going to dive into that as well. So we're excited to share insights with you guys. And to kick this thing off, we want to start with a poll. So I am very excited to ask, what actionable insights would you like to take away from our call today? So we have three different options. I believe Tracy just put up. If you guys want to go ahead and just click, is it insights on connecting with my team to our mission? Is it ways to nurture the culture within my company? Or is it tips on how to be the best leader that you can be? So we'll give that a minute to kind of
Maybe it's all three. There's a lot of
I see some
yeah, I
answers
would
coming
take
in.
away everything, but
Yes, it definitely could be all three. I see just one or two more question
yeah.
answers. And I'm gonna share those results. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect.
Awesome. So tip one. Oh, yeah. If you
Go
want to
ahead.
run through it, Tracy.
No, right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that 75% tips on how to be the best leader I can be. I'm excited to dive into that.
Yeah, that's what we all try to aim for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Awesome. So I think the first thing that we really want to dive into today is really, how do we cultivate a mission within the organization, and how do we get everyone in alignment? So I refer to a mission as the guiding light that provides clarity to a path forward that both the organization and its employees can be in alignment across the board. So if any of you on this webinar listening have listened to like Jim Collins or read any of his books, like Built to Last, Good to Great, and the articles in the Harvard Business Review, he spent many, many years studying companies, organizations that are just extraordinary, such as Sony, Walt Disney, Merck, Johnson & Johnson. And there was, out of this research, they pulled two key components that really make or break an organization. And those two key components are core ideology and an envisioned future. So we're going to go through and kind of break down what does this mean? So core ideology is the soul of the organization. It is the character of the organization. And it has two key components to it. So the first component is core purpose. Why do we exist? Why are we doing what we're doing? And all of us, need some sort of purpose bigger than ourselves, something that we can be in service of to others to be able to help the greater good. And that second piece is core values. So having timeless guiding principles that align with all of the behaviors within your organization. And we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper on why it's important to actually live these core values and not just have them written on paper or hanging on the wall, but actually live them with the way that we think, what we believe, and the intentional action in our behaviors. So I'm really excited to dive into all of that with you guys. And the envision future part is really exciting because it gives you it gives you and the organization a really clear path of where we had it, what do we aspire to become, what do we want to achieve as a team, and having a vivid description of that and a big, hairy, audacious goal. So now we're not just bringing people on to have a job, but now we have a collective mission that we can all be in alignment together to work towards and achieve.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I think we at HomeBuddy have a mission actually. Um, if we want to go to the next slide here, and so at HomeBuddy, what do you think of this, man? So at HomeBuddy, we try to keep it simple, but we strive to create a friendly and trusted platform to connect homeowners with right contractors more efficiently. That's kind of our mission with HomeBuddy.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing at HomeBuddy to implement that mission into your daily practice.
Right. So when I think about missions, right, we got to that's our overall kind of everybody contributing, allocating to one goal. So when I look at it, like in the call center, some people that I onboard or whatever, like, well, how am I going to change everything like that? We all, in any kind of setup, like whether you're in the military or whether have you, what I think about it, we all have our role to play in that mission. So as call center agents, to get to that goal, we are like kind of the frontline staff. We're the executors. We're the ones that will speak to the homeowners or the leads, and we are able to bring that information back to maybe the marketing team or converting in, getting good quality leads for our clients. So that's kind of our purpose and our mission, and we have roles to play to achieve that mission for HomeBuddy. That's how I see it.
Awesome. I love that. I'll share a little bit about Altruistic Advisory's mission and, what we strive to really achieve. I think really what our pure purpose is being in service of others. That's what altruism is. And we really live and breathe that. And we're on a mission to be able to create safe spaces for people within the industry or outside of the industry to be able to connect, collaborate, empower, and inspire one another. So we have a safe space where everyone is seen, heard, and really valued. And then we take it a step further to really outreach to the community and be able to connect with the community by dedicating, proceeds to helping children in need and helping whoever in the community is in a vulnerable place and needs some support. So that's what we feel really passionate about. And we try to, make a really clear mission there.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty impressive actually. And yeah, and I definitely can honestly understand that. We definitely different visions for whatever company it is. You have that goal and that purpose, and those values are so important, right?
Right. No, it really is. And the next piece that I really want to talk about is connection. I think this is just the most important piece, especially in a company culture. And the way that I define, connection is it's the energy that exists between two people when they feel seen, when they feel heard and valued, and they're able to give and receive without judgment or shame at place. So it creates this sense of full trust and transparency where you have this foundation where everyone gets to be authentically themselves. And they get to belong in the organization rather than trying to fit in and be something that they're not. And one of my favorite quotes by Brené Brown is, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. And without vulnerability, it's really hard to change things. It's really hard to get creative and feel comfortable in that space to be able to share and get innovative and throw ideas out. So I think connection is a really, really important piece for us as human beings, we need to feel connected to our work and also to who we're working with.
Yeah, and it goes both ways for the respect and the openness of our employees, and they come to you, nervous, and there's this whole hierarchy, and of course that's a vulnerability. They're coming to us, and we really need to make sure we're connected to those people that they can provide us, especially in a call center where they're you know um, hearing things and could make things better. That information is very important for the business. And no matter what department you're in, people come from different cultures, different backgrounds, and they can, a collaborative kind of group think can really make changes to your company for the better. And that appreciation is very important.
Yeah, it really, it's so, so important. So I think we put together a poll for you guys on, do you know your company's core values? Just curious, is this something you guys are normalizing, you're talking about? And second to that, do you know them, but are you living them? So we want to take a quick feel from the audience of, what does that look like in your organization?
Nobody picking the second
Well, I'm
one.
sure people
Sort of
have
what I
them
thought.
posted. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people post this on their job posts and their company page, but I think you're right. Are they living them is really the point. Are we reminding ourselves that this is, what we are and what we stand for? Otherwise, they're going to be, everybody's values. So what did it come up as?
Here's some results.
Oh, good. No, actually, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm glad to see 67% I know and live them. That is amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, I think, core values are just so important to really get clear on, hey, this is the way I show up. Because if you look at company culture, the lowest level of acceptable behavior is going to define that culture.
Mm-hmm.
So what type of behaviors, how are you showing up every day? And really, how is that normalized within the culture?
Yeah. Well, especially if you're advertising, the biggest thing for employees is skepticism. We advertise this who we are as a company, then they get here and they're like, you guys are not open or transparent or collaborative or, all those values. If you start demonstrating that you're not living by those values, that's where you really get the problems of a culture. Employees don't trust, they don't feel included. Yeah, and then they develop their own culture, and you develop, as you said, the worst people
Right.
are the bottom line, are the ones actually dictating your culture with their own values. So interesting.
100%. So I think we have another poll for you. Have you ever experienced a company culture that made you feel uncomfortable? Now, this is one of those I'll say yes, I'm not being anonymous there, but I've seen, cultures really affect my life. So that's why I feel very deeply about it.
Not only uncomfortable, but definitely that you want to leave. There's a great percentage of people that, they won't tolerate that, especially now in this workforce, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah, 70%. Yeah, there's really nothing worse than being stuck somewhere that you don't want to be working and you kind of feel stuck. So, all right, so let's dive into what is normal.
What is normal
in your culture, I love this because every type of company that I go into, there's a different normal. And hey, maybe for some, like in the picture, it's normal to bring your dog to work, or maybe it's normalized to work remotely, or maybe it's normal where every day you're coming suit and tie. And I think the behaviors in a company really determine what's normal.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
what would you say some of HomeBuddy's like?
Oh, well, we're like a game changer. We one thing I with all my experience that I liked about HomeBuddy is we can be fearless in voicing our opinions in terms of our thoughts of, hey, I really think this is going to work. And that openness and that being able to have those conversations with different people and different levels. I at least know as a leader that I try to have that conversation with my employees. So what's normal to me is I want every employee to come into work and they're happy to be there. So if they can tell me that, I think we're doing a good job. But that's living by the core values that we have. I have a standard and everybody can see that transparent what those values are. So
I
I
love
love
the
that. So what,
diversity. I love the diversity that HomeBuddy brings. We have people, we are a global organization, and I have met and learned from people that I never would have come in contact with had it not been for
that's
HomeBuddy. And it just makes this company vibrant and interesting, and the growth that comes out of it, because everybody's ideas are heard and they come from everywhere.
I really have to say that's so true. So that's it. And everybody has different culture. I've been in, total opposite cultures, but if that works for somebody, that's great. But that's when you're hiring someone, you have to look at that same, is this what you're going to bring to the table and make sure that, they're comfortable, we're comfortable, and that and it works for the team. So hiring the right people is definitely something. But one I'll name a few here, Brianna, but the top tips of if you're looking to be a leader and have that culture or that those values, one thing I believe is setting really clear, realistic, attainable metrics goals for all employees. Everybody, I feel naturally wants to succeed, right? They want to be successful. A lot of people have good intentions and efforts, but it's being directed somewhere else. But it's us job as leaders to benchmark what is your role? What's your role to contribute to the company, to the mission, and to the values? And those are really big things. And then I would say definitely lead by example, right? I went into a company, they were like, oh, my door is always open. Uh, the boss's door was never open. I don't think he even, opened it once, maybe to go to the bathroom, but it's those things that you have to, if you're going to preach, you might well follow your own kind of example of doing that. What about you? What are some things that you think here?
yeah, I mean, I think a healthy culture looks like vulnerability, empowering each other, again, having that connection. And I think that kind of rolls into, what does a good leader look like?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because when I think of leader, I think of so many different words and so many different experiences. And so recently I read an article in the Harvard Business Review, and I thought they just articulated it beautifully. So you know how we all like have a sense of being in a state of flow. So maybe as an athlete, you're in that state of flow. They say that there's a state of flow for leadership as well, where you can be at your peak performance for leadership. And there's 5 core energies to that. So I know this was a big topic, that everybody really wanted to talk about. So I want to dive into this.
Okay.
The first most important quality of a good leader is having a purpose, having a noble cause that you're committed to. And that second one is wisdom. So being, to have wisdom is to be calm and receptive to what's true, not believing all of the things, but being calm and receptive to the actual truth, and from there growing from it. And growth being the third one, I think is so important, because as a leader, we always want to be learning more, always growing. I mean, it's like you don't want a leader that thinks they know everything.
Yeah. Yeah. If this is it, then I'm done.
Right, right. Then
yeah.
no, you don't need to grow anymore. Like,
No, I'm done. I can retire now. Once you
yeah.
retire, then you're done.
I love it. And then I was excited to see self-realization in the 5, because I think it is so important as a leader to have a sense of self-awareness and to be centered in a joyful spirit. and all of the things that happen, the chaos throughout the day. It's like so important to not allow it to affect that energy, and to always be very centered within yourself,
Yeah.
and to
So
be the awareness behind those behaviors that we're cultivating every day. What are our thoughts? What's the mindset? What are we putting out there? What energy are we sharing?
mhm,
And then those belief systems that we have, how are we articulating them through our behaviors and the actions that we're taking, our
right.
intentional actions? And having that sense of self-awareness, I think, is really respected.
Agreed.
And the fifth one is love and connection. So
I
love,
don't know about HR with this one, but okay. But
um,
please explain.
yes. So love, I know some of us think right away our romantic partner, but we can love who we work with and really care
Right.
and
Absolutely.
deeply connect with who we work with. We spend 23% of our life working. So it's like, okay, out of that time, who are we seeing daily? And we're influenced by these people, and we need to connect with these individuals. So as a
Yeah.
leader, if you're not connecting with an employee, there's not going to be that sense of vulnerability, being seen, heard, and valued. So we need to find a common ground to be able to connect with those that we're leading.
Being compassionate to their,
Yes.
in this mental, state that people are stressed and the economy and everything. We got to be understanding and, love the, employee, the neighbor, what have you. But it's really just being connected with them and saying, I get it. I understand. So that's a really
Yeah.
good point, Grant.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I know we only have a minute left. I want to be mindful and
Well,
respectful of everyone's time. So we have one last poll that we want to kick off.
all right.
So what is the biggest culture challenge that you are seeing in your organization? No vision or purpose, lack of processes, communication, challenges within leadership, behaviors of employees. Guys
I
see
could probably guess what people are going to
it?
just on experience. But yeah, I want to see the results here. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see these results.
Yeah, I got $10 on it.
We've got some people thinking on this one. I'm going to give it one
well,
extra second. All right. Here you go.
all right, let's see here. Okay, yeah, I think I was right. I think that would have resonated probably anytime I went into a company. First thing I asked is, what am I doing with these employees? And a lot of times it probably is because all connected, right? It all comes back to what you're saying. Didn't you say?
Absolutely. Behaviors. It's
Yeah,
key.
behaviors. Yeah.
Yes. How we behave dictates everything.
Well, they don't know their values, or they don't
Right.
know the mission. They don't know the direction that they should be, or their role. All right, that's great.
All right. Well, I want to thank our panelists for some really great information. I have one more poll here that I'm going to launch, just informational for us. But if you're interested in learning more about the amazing work that Briana does at Altruistic Advisory, or in learning more about how to drive leads from HomeBuddy, there's some information up here about how you can reach us. And I'm going to launch just a quick last poll. And in the meantime, it looks to me like we have just a couple of comments. Let's see. Ryan would like to add that over communication within an organization can dilute important communications from hitting the mark. I think that's a really excellent question. Do one of you want to address that?
Martin?
Oh, so that over communication with an organization?
Yeah, that over
well,
communication can dilute.
Dilute. Well, I would say that, the key thing is whether or not it dilutes it. I think you need a structure of way to communicate is really on what, when people communicate, you have to have an organized thought of what you're communicating. And you have to, if people are giving you ideas and everything, they all have to align with what your real goal is, what your mission is. So if you can take that communication and we can all agree there's a goal and it goes towards that goal, and how is it proving that goal, I think then you can sort out what's there or not, and things like that.
Wonderful. Well, I just want to thank you guys again for your time today.
Oh, this is great.
a wonderful webinar, and thank you for everyone who joined. We really appreciate you being here, and look to see the video in the next few days. And in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are, and have a good rest of your week. We will see you again soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
Bye.
thanks so much.